The first step in this eyebrow wax using First Made Hot Wax is to cleanse the skin using Waxperts cleanser on a damp cotton pad. Now is the time to look at the skin and the hair that you'll be working on and to check the length of the hair in the brows. So if there's any long hairs that might get in your way while waxing, now would be the time to trim those. This client is a regular eyebrow waxer, so he doesn't have any longer hairs to trim, but if that's the case for your client, trim them now, and then you can always trim a little bit more at the end of the treatment if needed to neaten up the brow shape. So now I'm just brushing through the brows, getting them into the regular kind of shape so I can make sure that the hair is where it needs to be and where I'm going to apply my wax. I literally only want to remove the previous regrowth. The client is happy with the eyebrow shape currently. So next step is I've applied my pre-wax oil, and you can see I'm obviously applying it to the hair that I want to work on, but I'm also making sure to apply that pre-wax oil to the surrounding skin, so where the wax is going to push out towards and where I'm going to leave my lip for removal, to make sure that skin is fully protected and that it has that nice slip and glide. So if there's too much, you can always tissue off any excess, just to make sure there's that nice slip on the skin, not too heavy but not too dry either. So my next step is to apply my first patch of wax. So if you are new to male eyebrow waxing, it's always good to have a system in place. So my system is I do this area underneath the brows first. So I clear this path away. Using firm pressure, I apply from the middle of the brow down towards the temple, using firm pressure with the hot wax to really embed those hairs. And I leave my lip down nearly on the temple so I can get that nice lip for removal in that hair-free area. So my next step is to apply my second patch of wax. So again, taking a smaller amount of product with your facial spatula, I'm applying above the brow with the same firm pressure, pushing those hairs into the wax, and then leave my lip down towards the temple where it's going to be the most comfortable spot for me to get my lip for removal and for the client. So now the patches are so thinly set that they're ready to be removed, and you can see that the client barely flinched. So it's better to do these smaller sections, break up the eyebrow into the 2 or the 3 sections, especially if you're working on a larger male brow. It'd be much more comfortable for the client and much better. You as a therapist will get much better precision. So now I'm going in with my next patch, which is now right underneath the thickest part of the brow, and using my spatula on the side, I'm really working that wax into the hairs to get a really precise straight line underneath that thickest part of the brow. So now I'm leaving my lip in that nice hair-free area where we've just removed that hair. And because this patch is so thinly applied, I'm going to remove this straight away before I move on to the middle section of the brow. So making sure it's set, stretch the skin, grip and remove. And then just glide your finger over to remove any sting for the client. My next patch is the centre of the brows, so holding back any hair that I don't want to get involved in my wax patch, I'm applying my wax upwards with firm pressure, really working the hairs into the wax, and then smoothing my lip, my edge around to make sure that I have a nice tab to grip when it comes for the time to remove. Once that patch is set, then we can remove, firm grip and pull, and then just glide over the skin again to take away any sting. And I think you can see the teeny tiny hairs. You can actually see the bulb. That's how good the grip is with First Mate. So First Mate is perfect for all male waxing, but in particular for facial waxing, because you can get that super thin application. It's great for removal for brows, for nasal area where you can actually apply the wax a little bit thicker if you need to, because the grip is so great for that male stronger hair growth. So now my next patch is the other side of the middle of the brows. So again, you can see I'm using firm pressure, holding my spatula upright, really working those hairs into my wax patch and just smoothing my lip around for me to grip to remove it comfortably and safely. And because the wax sets so thinly, I've just applied one patch here because I'm going to remove it now straight away. So you can be really efficient with your time when you're doing a treatment using First Mate hot wax, especially if you're up to date with your training and you can apply it as thin as what I'm doing in this video. My next step now is to reapply some Waxperts pre-wax oil to my client's skin. If you find that your client's skin doesn't have that slip and glide to it, always make sure to reapply so that the skin is protected. My next patch now is above the eyebrow. So remember, with Waxperts hot wax, you can apply it in any direction. So once you have firm pressure, you can really work your hairs into any direction you need to. So I've applied my wax and left my lip in the most hair-free area, which is above the middle of the brows. And that's a much more comfortable spot for me to remove the wax from for the client. So now I'm ready to work on the other side of the brows. So starting from the middle section again, I'm going to wax that lower section. Using firm pressure, you can see I'm really working those hairs into the wax patch and supporting the skin with my non-waxing hand, which is so important when you're working on the eye area, whether it's male or female. So you can actually really see on this side how thin that patch is. It's almost see-through. So I'm ready for my second patch, which is above the brow. So mirroring what I've just done on the lower section. So again, firm pressure, working the wax in and onto those hairs and leaving the lip in that hair-free area around the temple. Now we're ready for removal. So again, grip, pull, and then slide your finger over just to take away any sting. And I think the camera really picks up better on this side of the eyebrow how smooth and clean the finish is on the eyebrow, and how the skin looks. The skin is in perfect condition. There's no redness. Really great condition because the pre-wax oil has been there to protect all along. So my next section now is to go underneath the thickest part of the eyebrow. So again, I use the side of my spatula to just work my wax in really precisely and then drag and flatten out the wax in the thicker section underneath the arch of the eyebrow. And now I'm ready to remove this wax patch. So again, good stretch on the skin, grip the tab and remove. My next patch is now above the eyebrow. So I'm holding down any hairs that I don't want to get involved in my wax patch and using firm pressure, but being really precise and making sure that my wax line is actually super straight. I'm just working that wax and leaving the lip in the most hair-free area again, which is the center of the brows. So again, because it's applied so thinly, I've just applied one patch and it's ready to be taken off almost immediately. So it's really up to you and the client you're working on, whether it's one patch you apply and then remove, or two patches or three patches, whatever's going to be most efficient for you. So now I'm just checking my work, reapplying any pre-wax oil, Now I'm going to go over any areas that I think there might be a couple of hairs that have been left behind that I might want to remove with the wax rather than the tweezers. So going in under the eyebrow to remove a couple of hairs that remained behind. And even though it's only 1 or 2 or 3 hairs, I still use the same firm pressure that I would use whether it's a full-on bushy eyebrow. So firm pressure for every single patch that you apply to the face. Remember, if your pressure is poor, your removal will be poor. So really make sure that your pressure is always super firm. And now the last step in any male eyebrow wax treatment is to cleanse and soothe the skin using Waxperts cleanser on a damp, clean cotton pad. So this will also remove any remaining residue of the pre-wax oil. So remember, after wax oil is a no-no on the face. The cleanser is the perfect aftercare product for after facial waxing. And then you can just brush and groom the eyebrow hairs into place. Again, if you need to trim at this stage, you can. We didn't need to for this particular client, but the eyebrows look pretty great. I hope you enjoyed that and got lots of tips and tricks.